Why is the shitbox on jack stands? And why is the jack under the engine? And why is the head stripped? Oh my god. Today we're gonna tear down the motor and look at mechanical at AED on the new episode of Shitbox to Beast, episode 3. Welcome to Shitbox to Beast, episode 3 on the YouTube series where we take this 1988 GLI twin cam from a shitbox to a beast using a full restoration on the inside, the outside, the mechanical and the auto electrical. This is an update, and as you can see we are at AED Auto Electrodynamics in the airport industrial, and the car has now officially moved out of the auto electrical bay and is now in the mechanical bay where they will be tackling the engine, the motor, the oil leaks. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about where we were, what was done on the car so far, a update with our auto electrical guy Afif, and now we are going to talk about what we are going to do with our mechanical side with our guy Ronnie. We've also introduced new sponsors that have come on board with parts and a varied other services, including wrapping. So stay tuned for a mad episode where we're going to talk about a massive way forward with this project. Stay tuned, and remember, subscribe and like and comment and engage with us. We're almost on 1,000 subscribers for the channel so far, and that is going to help us massively with our monetization and to get us more sponsors on board. Okay, so update number 1, auto electrical, right? I'm here with the master auto electrician, Mr. Afif. He did most of the work on the auto electrical side of the car. He did the entire engine. So what I want to know from you is, what did you do? Where are we now? What was done?
Okay, well, first of all, we completed the wiring on the engine bay.
So the engine bay is clear now?
The engine bay is done.
That whole room miskak that was there?
It's gone.
Alhamdulillah.
That basically took most of the work out of what we need to do. And
Okay.
the only thing now that's left, I can see, is minor odd things like lights. Yeah.
We had a what was that?
H4.
H8, no, what was it? We had in the HID kit.
HID kit, yes.
And in your opinion, what is
LED.
Yeah, the LED.
The LED one is actually better.
The bulb.
The LED bulbs.
But what do you think, in your personal opinion, of that ballast kit, that HID stuff? Be honest.
Cock! Now I'll tell you why, because it's a complete kit, right? But there aren't any interchangeable and replaceable parts. So if one part goes,
We have to replace the
you have to
whole
replace the entire system.
Okay.
You understand? Whereas with the LED bulbs, if it blows, you just replace the bulb.
just the bulb itself, yeah.
That's
and we
it.
can retrofit that H4 straight onto the plug.
Straight onto the plug.
Okay. Then,
I ran a complete new loom from the dictator right through to all your sensors, your injectors, and
the fan.
everything.
Okay, quite. Alright, now, the interior of the car is looking much better. No?
Just not to my liking though, but
Yeah, he's a perfectionist, by the way. He's like me, he's a perfectionist. It must be perfect. The last time you saw the car, no, it was stripped on the inside. Let's take a look on inside the car, what's happening, what it looks like, and you can talk to us about what you see is left over to do. Alright, let's do that. Alright, so just so you can see, all that wiring you saw in the previous episode has been cleaned up. This has been done. All that crap that was laying here has been done. We have nice casings on our wires. Our injectors and our injector plugs are nicely sorted and insulated. And there's the main loom that he made up, rewired, covered, and also sorted out. Well done, bro. This is exceptional work, I must say. The people are very, very impressed with your work. Alright, let's go to the interior quickly. Viv,
yo,
what are we looking at here? This crap here.
that's basically setting up the back loom to work as per standard. So everything there that does not belong there, that is not a Toyota wire,
Yeah.
I'm going to remove.
Okay.
And I'm going to have everything run as per original.
Okay. It looks really
Cuck.
more. No, it looks much better than it was before.
It looks cock.
This guy. Okay. And then here, our cluster is back, and our interior is put back together again. We assembled here also the old radio part. There was a broken sticky plastic here. This was where the radio went. Okay. So I got a new part for that, and that has been fitted already. Looks very nice. The fan, I put on the switch mos, because unfortunately the fan wasn't working, and that's also fitted back to standard now, no?
Yeah.
Okay, quite. Another thing is, when they did the interior over and they did the roof lining over, they covered that central light, and I love that light. It's very important to me. So we're going to find it, rewire it.
Definitely.
Why? Okay, now dictator and management.
Yebo.
There's our dictator laying, right? That was mounted underneath here, no? That
Yeah.
was mounted there with some screws and stuff.
No, it was actually zip tied.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like that. There.
Okay. So what are we gonna do?
I'm changing it. I'm going to move it to the back.
Okay, so you're gonna mount it and fit it
mount
to the back.
So it's going to be solid.
Okay, is this a 16-2 or is this a standard dictator?
Standard. As you can see, STD.
No, not sexually transmitted diseases.
Stop your
The-
cock, man!
It's a standard dictator. Okay, what's better for this car? Standard or the 16-2 or what? There's a lot of questions.
No, the standard is okay.
Because
I
that
mean,
controls what?
We're just controlling the injectors
Injectors,
and the fueling.
fueling, and then
And the
also
spark.
cooling and the spark, no?
Yeah, this is perfect for our application.
Okay, Kwai. And then you left me some radio wires. Thank you very much. Because this is going to be in the next episode. We're going to fit a radio. Are you excited with the radio I showed you?
I have to comment.
That you don't have to comment. You don't have to comment. So at this point in time now, to get this, how much more work in time would you say? A day, 2 days, a week? For auto electrical only?
Auto electric only, I say about 2 days.
2 days. Okay, work. Uncle Afif, I say to you, shukran for your amazing work and your expertise. And we look forward to continuing the series to finish it. Maak nou klaar asseblief met die bloody auto electrical.
Shut your face.
This guy is not giving me a break under any means necessary, but I know he's immaculate. I know he is very to the point and he's a perfectionist. So I trust everything that he does on the car because I know when it is done here, it's going to be better than factory. And I'm very excited for that. Okay, so we are now going to get into the meat of things. I have behind me Ronnie. Say hi, Ronnie. Ronnie is one of the lead mechanics here at AED in the mechanical section. And what Ronnie has done for us so far is he's actually taken off the sump. This is the previous sump that was modified. So let's have a look at that sump quickly. So Ronnie has told me that this sump has been modified and this is actually quite a good sump, but unfortunately they didn't seal the sump properly. So as you can see between where the bolts would go, there isn't actually any sealant and most of the sealant has creeped out onto the edge. And as you know, the sump was also scraping against the crank pulley and broke off pieces of the crank pulley. But he told me this plate, what did you call this plate again, Ronnie?
Baffle.
The baffle plate. And that separates the oil and gives it extra oil that goes onto the crank.
Yeah.
Okay, and that causes it to stay lubricated even under high revs. Okay, cool. And then the sump was obviously modified and there was a weld. So here's the pickup of the sump, as you can see. That is lumbing in there. Alright. And the other AE82 sump that we have, it doesn't have the plate on here. And then also, they added a weld onto the sump. Okay, so what Ronnie speculated, the reason for this extra weld on here is so they could add more oil into the sump for the purpose of lubrication. But also, this sump could have come from a motor that was in a rear-wheel drive car. What's the reason for that?
So, in the rear-wheel drive cars, they have cross movers running on your steering rack. So, for clearance-wise, if they would most probably have to modify the sump, that is one of the reasons.
So now what we are doing is, we are taking off this cover because we are going to have a look at the oil leak, and the oil leak was sprung up on the car whenever it would run, and we are assuming that it is either the cam seal and the crank seal, right? And that was what we got over here, kindly sponsored by Jimmy's Motor Spares. So let me just talk to you about that. Jimmy's Motor Spares was watching the series on TikTok and they wanted to come on board and help us with whatever they could, right? So one of the problems that we had was this. This grill broke and cracked here, right? Then we actually had a bra by the name of Ridha come in and he was watching as well from TikTok. And he gave us this one here, which needs a little bit of work. It's a little bit dirty, but it needed to be resprayed and redone, right? So then, all of a sudden, I get a phone call from Jimmy's and they message me and they say, Fikkie, we want to give you something. Brand new grill. It was lumbing in his spare shop. So Jimmy's Motor Spares, please give them a shout out there. I think they're on the corner of Klipfontein Road and somewhere in Surrey Estate. I went to go and fetch it. I'll drop the address details here. And they came on board and they gave us this. And they gave us our seals, both the crank seal as well as the cam seals that's going to go into the motor to fix the oil leak. If you see here, the clips go in on this light. right? The bottom clip and the top clip. So one clip goes in on the body and one clip goes in on the top there. And then it mounts in the middle here as well in those two gaatjies, and then on the other light on the other side in those two gaatjies. But we have an issue. The issue is these clips go in the middle. Those clips go in on that side, but here we have a Moorse gap. We need to take this thing here and we need to modify it and push it back into the car. What we're going to do today, we have already stripped the sump, and as you can see over here, the sump is off the motor, and there you can see the crank, and then there's the crank pulley which is damaged and broken, and we are going to be replacing that today, as well as having a look on what's going under these tappet covers. What's going on? Is our cams alright? Are our valves alright? Is our shims alright? I'm gonna get my hands dirty and I'm gonna strip with him. And by the way, one of our main spares sponsors, Joe's Motor Spares in Tuscany Glen, have come through with some mad gifts for us. Let's see what he got us. So here's the box. This is T-VIS, and as you know, they're an automotive lamps company. They actually make aftermarket of the originals, right? Look what we got. Are you ready? From Joe's Motor Spares. Brand new aftermarket taillights. Look at that, immaculate, not a scratch. I'm very excited to put this in. But this will go in on a different episode when we are actually going to focus on the aesthetics of the car, because we must not put on the twin cam side strips on the doors. And also we are busy in communication with the other sponsor, and that sponsor is with the name of Wrap Mods. We are speaking to Mikael from Wrap Mods, and we might be doing a half wrap or even potentially a full wrap on the car. But before we do that, we obviously have to focus on the other problems, and we have a big problem on our fucking hands right now, and that is the undercarriage. Let me show you the footage that I shot here about a few weeks ago when we put the car on the lift, and we were shocked to see the condition of the undercarriage of this car and what it looks like. It's fraught. The chassis might be skewed, but the car wasn't crab walking when I was driving it, so we're not quite sure about that. Okay, so the car is finally away from the auto electrical spot for now, and it is gone on to the electronic lift. Now there is body damage to the car as well. There was a jack fall apparently on the passenger side here somewhere. So we want to see what that's going to look like underneath here, and we want to diagnose the sump and the suspension and stuff like that as well. So let's see what happens. Okay, so there's a deliberation and a conversation going on here. We needed to see what's going on. The first thing is, what's going on here by the sump, uncle? What's going on here by the sump? Explain to us. Is this not too close to each other, firstly? Because I see that shit is touching. I don't know if that is me imagining myself.
Like a mill was touching.
Then the seal here, not doing so great here on the ceiling. I didn't know that it kept on cut there with that.
And the crank seal that's pushing out all the oil.
Crank seal, no? Okay. There is body scraping, and a lot of body scraping. This car was very low, I do know that. There we have damage. The undercarriage is a lot worse than we anticipated. It's rusted, bro. It's rusted. There is a plate here, from what I can see. I don't know if they put another plate in here.
It's pink because of jacking.
That is a jacking related issue. And then look here, my bro. What the fuck is going on here? So this must have been from the jack fall. This is completely dented here. Yeah, I don't know if this is a mixture of body filler and super glue or...
Your tank is also damaged.
Undercarriage has got some damage under it.
This is gonna have to be replaced.
Okay, there you heard it, guys. So the undercarriage is a major concern. They're saying that if the car is gonna drive, it might
It's
just
going to come apart.
come apart. Put some Moorse spanner in the works.
Yeah.
So now we need to get a
Basically, it's like-
welding company on board here.
Yeah. It's basically
Great
like
news!
Yes.
And then we're gonna bring in another sponsor by the name of Mag Addiction. Everybody knows Faisal Ragani. He's built a lot of cars, race cars in the past. He's got an automotive wheel alignment, wheel shop, tire shop, he does custom galvanizing, he does custom welding, stainless steel welding, he builds exhausts and intakes and a wide variety of modifications for cars that require welding. He also does chassis and suspension work, and he's come on board and he said when we're done at AED we can take the car to his facility where he will be checking and coming on board as a sponsor to weld for us the undercarriage to ensure that when we're driving the car that the car don't pull uit mekaar uit, okay? The other thing we got from our friends at Joe's Spares, okay, Joe's Motor Spares, he gave us ball joints, okay, because we do need to do suspension on the car as well, so ball joints. And then we are obviously looking for a sponsor for T-VIS. We are in communication with one or two other spare shops. One name I can potentially drop is AHK because they did say they were looking to come on board with us, but we need to negotiate that. And then here is our crank pulley that we need to replace today. So this is the newer version of the actual old crank pulley. It's a side-by-side one. So the one belt runs on here, and then the other belt for aircon and power steering would run on here. But this is a non-aircon, non-power steering vehicle. So yeah, this is our crank pulley, and this is also kindly sponsored to us by Joe's Motor Spares in Tuscany Glen. Okay, so their details you can find here. He's got spares for any make and model of vehicle, and if he doesn't have what you need, he will find it and source it for you. And he prides himself on three things: quick service, quality parts, and competitive pricing. So please look out, their contact details is here. If you are in that area, Tuscany Glen area, he is definitely one of the most comprehensive guys in the area and one of the most well-priced guys in the area. But I'm talking too much, it's time to get our hands dirty. Let's go down to the motor, shall we? Alright, so we said we're going to get our hands dirty, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take off the tappet cover to look at what the cams look like, to see if our injectors are okay, to see if our valves are okay and our shims are okay. And we have got 4 bolts on each tappet cover. We have 2 tappet covers because it's a twin cam engine, and there's obviously a cam that lies beneath each of these tappet covers. So let's go. First thing we're going to do is take off the oil cap. I'll pop that in here, and we're going to start loosening our bolts. Okay, so very importantly, loosen it until the point where you see the bolt is about to come off, because what lies underneath is actually a washer. And this washer here has got a piece of rubber underneath. That's the washer. That's the top, it's a copper piece, and then underneath is a rubber. And that obviously prevents oil from leaking up to the top of the head. The last thing you want to do is lose one of those washers. Alright, Toe, let's take it off. Yo, that was easier than I expected. How's this gaskets looking? Not so bad, no? It's actually looking nice inside here. I like that there's no marks inside of the tappet cover. That means there's no valves that shut off or anything like that. These holes. I think we're gonna respray this. Let me know if you wanna help me to respray this. If you know someone that can make this look more again, because on closer inspection it is a little bit rusted and faded. So that's one. And then that's 2. Oh, this one is different. That's for the cam seating, eh? Let's have a look under here and see what's going on. What's going on here?
So, by the looks of it, everything still looks nice.
Okay.
Looks clean.
How's our lobes looking?
For the age, it looks good.
No scratches, no dents, no imperfections in the lobes?
Nothing like that. There's no sludge. You know, that is the one thing that you don't want in an engine. Reason being oil starvation and stuff like that.
Okay.
Know? But the engine itself internally looks very nice.
Okay. And what about the shims? Where's the shims? Is it this goed that you're under the lobe?
So this is your hydraulic lifters. That works with oil pressure.
Okay. And
So
now
they are self-setting.
Self-setting.
Yeah,
But apparently you must adjust the shims also. These are like these round cylindrical.
Yeah, they sit under this cup. So
Okay.
they have like a they call it a shim. It sits here underneath.
Okay. So from an automotive engineering perspective, if you want to come on board as an engineer, if you want to set the shims for us as an automotive engineer, you can come on board and have a look here. Oil recommendation 15W40 or 15W40. So this is a high revving engine. These engines can go up to about, from what I've heard, 10,000 RPM. Yeah. But I know standard in this car the clocks are saying 8,000. But I've heard stories of people with 8,500 and 9,000 RPM cars. Yeah. But that obviously takes a little bit of modification, and I'm assuming you must advance the timing and a lot of other stuff like that. So yeah, okay, why are we looking at two different ends of our cams here?
So you will see this thing have a gear, and that's driven on your distributor.
Okay. Overall, we're good to go, the motor looks good.
Now I'm happy. I'm gonna do the cam seals
Okay.
and the crank seals.
Okay, so let's get cracking on the cam seals. What do we need to do now? We need to take this pipe to get it out of the way.
We need to remove the pipe.
Yeah.
And then we need to remove the cam. Yeah.
What do you need to set it to?
I've already adjusted the timing.
Oh, you have?
To its mark.
Okay.
You can see there that mark is lining up with that. And then there is a mark there which is lining up with that. And then you come to your
Okay.
cranks. This is your cam timing.
Cam timing. Okay, so both cams must be at the dead center mark on the top there, no? Okay, cool. And if you don't do that and you start working on the motor, then what can you do?
Big problem. And that's where your valves comes in.
And you can bend valves and...
Bend valves, or you can break a piston.
Okay, Ronnie, what are we doing now? Cam pulley.
Yeah.
You're gonna remove the pulley.
We're removing now the cam belt.
Okay.
And then the crank pulley as well.
Okay, so let's go. That crank pulley, we're looking forward to seeing what that thing look like now, because it's damaged. Okay, so besides all the damage I've already shown you, let's move on to the motor quickly. So we've seen here on the sub-assembly some more problems. Number one, they did a really shit job of sealing the sump. Don't know what this is here, my bro, but this is really bad workmanship on their behalf. Then also, this pulley is so close to the sump, and there are pieces of it literally broken and chipped off. Look at this. Literally pieces of the pulley have been chipped off and broken. It's really rough. As you can see here, this pulley is heeltemal fucked up. Heeltemal. Also oil everywhere. Oil everywhere. So this is the quiet thing of being in a 5-star graded workshop. You've got tools that run on a compressor, and this man's gonna shoot that crank pulley loose with a gun, my bro. No more 2 spanners and a ratchet. Uit met de rare tijd. Gauw. Ja, this thing is mos gevaarlijk. Okay. But this is aftermarket, no? This is made.
Yeah. But look, it's not something yet. How can I now say?
To be concerned about.
Yeah, to be concerned about. It's not that. I've seen worse.
Okay.
And I mean, this can also cause a problem, but in this is still good.
Okay. And then let's see the front there where it mounts on. Okay, we do need a gasket there though, no? Because this gasket looks a bit not so alhamdulillah. There you can see the gasket, the exhaust gasket. It's not in great condition. This is a Moorse exhaust, no? What is that, my bro? I think that is a 63 mil.
Possibly.
Yo, it is kak big for a 4-cylinder, my bro. Yeah, tell us what you think. What do you think the diameter of that exhaust is? Is that a 70 mil, 63 or 57? Very good. Okay, there the belt come off. This man work kak for us, my bro. Okay, let's see the pulley condition. Okay, Uncle Ronnie, we have the old crank pulley that came off. Let's show them the damage there, go. Yes, there's stukkies chipped off of this thing, my bro. And that's because of that clearance between the sump and the pulley, no?
And you can see the way inside here, the emitter.
But this pulley look different from the new one.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
This is
the problem?
aftermarket.
Okay, aftermarket.
This is original.
Okay, but what's the differences? Are we good there on the differences?
Yeah.
Is the amount of teeth the same?
The grooves, yeah, they
Grooves on there. Okay, so you think it's gonna work?
gonna work.
Gonna work. Okay, but now are we gonna have to cut away a piece of that sump? Because where that thing was rubbing, there's pieces of broken off and chipped off. But they say there was a plate or like a gasket between the pulley and the motor.
Yeah, that normally sits on your sprocket. So
Okay.
That pushes out. That's basically to keep the cam belt line.
Okay.
So it doesn't jump off while you're driving. So
Why does that pulley look like that?
look, you see friction.
Yeah.
So after a while, this starts eating. So removing and taking off and removing. That also. But like I said, because of this part that's been eaten, you can clearly see on that crank pulley, and that is why it moves closer.
Okay, so you're saying that was the pulley that wore.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see that back section here, go? Show us. Okay, so that wear away. That was wearing away. And let's see the back section of that one. Okay, Kwai. So you say retrofit, it will work? Okay, Kwai. Also, I am, as you can see here, RMI approved, okay? We are at AED Auto Electric Dynamics, and remember, I showed you that the car was standing in a different bay. This is a completely different section of the workshop. This is the mechanical bay, and the car was previously in the auto electrical bay, right? This is my mother's car that they're busy working on here, and they're doing a minor service and brake repairs. So we replace spark plugs, air filter, fuel filter, basically just a minor service, oil. But on this Nissan T-VIS, the petrol filter sits on the petrol pump. So you can't change the petrol filter, uncle. The fuel filter, they say it sits on the actual fuel pump of this car. There's no petrol filter here, fuel filter.
Yeah, no fuel filter.
No fuel filter in a Nissan T-VIS, I didn't know that. Right, Ronnie, what do you have in your hand there, my brother?
So this is your cam belt guide washer.
Okay, and that's kak important, no?
It's very important.
Okay, because what does this do? It prevents the belt from jumping off of the... So basically jumping off of the sprocket, okay? And then you said inside here, there's like a washer.
Yeah, the sprocket has its own...
I'm going to zoom in on it. I don't know if you can see it there. But there you can see it has its own guide there and like a washer there that prevents that from moving backwards and forwards and causing the alignment to pop off so that the belt don't jump off of the pulley.
100%.
Boy, oh yeah. Is that belt still alright, bro? That belt look duidelijk.
It looks.
No tears, no cracks in there. Now it looks new.
You see here how the belt looks of the oil leak.
So that normally makes the belts brittle, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw on that his belt snapped, but luckily his valves didn't bend because apparently the 4AFE motor has some sort of protection measure in there. So shout out to VAD Productions over here. Please follow him. He does car reviews, builds and so on of other people's cars, including the work that he's doing on his 4AFE, which looks kak mooi, if you haven't already followed him. And then, yeah, so this belt is in good condition considering there was an oil leak on it. But please, if you have an oil leak, rather change your belt because the belts get brittle and they can snap. And if a belt snaps, you must know it's bent valves and a whole bunch of noatas going on in your head. So, away, my belt looks like it's okay. Okay, so I'm basically staying at AED Auto Electrodynamics, and they're on the airport industry, and they're one of the main sponsors that have come on board for auto electrical, as you know, as well as mechanical, as you may know. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about them. They are specialists, RMI approved, and they are a 5-star graded workshop under MIWA, which means that they actually get investigated to check the quality of their workshop behind me, which I'll show you quickly. But also, they can stamp your books, they work with most insurance companies, they work on all makes and models of vehicles. They specialize in air conditioning, mechanical and auto electrical, repair, maintenance, service, alles wat alles. And the quiet thing is about them is through two things, right? The first thing that they have is, they have this Payflex. They allow you to actually make 3 equal payments through Payflex for the repairs that they've done on your vehicle, right? So rather than spend the bulk of money up front, you can pay it off over 3 equal installments. On top of that, they also have a loyalty program that if you join the loyalty program, you can take one of 4 different tiers. And it costs you between 200 and 1,000 Rand per month. But that 200 Rand, for example, package, if you take a membership with them, you can score up to 50% off on your labor, and you can get up to 60% off on parts. So you can get 2 quotations from them. As a non-member, let's say for example, do an engine overhaul, it's going to cost you 30,000 Rand. But if you become a member with them on either one of their packages, obviously the higher up the tier is, the more benefits you get, and the bigger the discounts become. That same quotation could be dropped by up to 50% or even 60%. So where you would pay 30,000 Rand for an engine overhaul, you will now be paying 15,000 Rand, and you can pay it off over 3 equal installments. And on top of that, they give you an emergency service for you and your family, that they can press an emergency button where they send security out to you, press an emergency button where they send security out to you. You get air conditioning, regas, you get one of your services on the plan also where you only pay for the parts and not for the labor, and a vast variety of other specialists' services. Why? Because the work is guaranteed, and so are the parts for up to 6 months. Like I said, you have the flexibility to pay it off over equal installments. Also, they work on earth moving equipment. And for example, look here, they've got a heister. Let me show you quickly. They work on forklifts, heisters, earth moving equipment, construction vehicles. This vehicle actually came from TikTok. This guy took out a membership with them. Shout out to this guy, I can't remember his name now, but he came through after seeing my video on TikTok and has become a member, and he saved a lot of money on the repairs of his car. And as you can see, they even work on city vehicles, police vehicles, they do auto electrical, and this is where the car used to be in the auto electrical department. The car used to sit in that corner there. It's no longer there. So this is the quality of work that they do, and their promise is guaranteed. Okay. About them is they say they don't just do the basics. They go beyond what they are supposed to do. Okay. And the motto of this company is we don't go the extra mile. We go further. If you have a alternator related issue, most companies will tell you throw the thing away, get a new one. What do we do here, uncle? We fix, we refurbish, and we restore. So I'm in the back office of AED, and I'm sitting here with one of the main gurus behind the scenes here. This is Yakin, and he is a procurement specialist. Am I correct in assuming you can do any vehicle that moves, no? Earth moving equipment, heisters. So if AED can't source the parts locally, you're the guy that gets it.
That is correct.
Okay. What is the
try my
weirdest?
utmost to get anything for you.
Is it? So you can find anything for any car, any vehicle,
Any vehicle. Anything that moves.
anything that moves. So if you come to
Even if it
AED,
doesn't move,
so if you
I'll move it for you.
you move it. So this here is the main kunane, as they would say. He's the ops manager, and this is Uncle Frank, the man with the eloquent speech, but the better business etiquette. He runs things here. Uncle Frank, I want to ask you, why did you partner with me with Shitbox?
Because you were crying. You were crying. You were literally crying. We can show you.
But
what
don't
we
also
did.
lie. Tell them this is a passion project for you.
That is a passion.
Why?
Yes, because I had a twin cam.
He had the exact same twin cam that I had. Okay. And you
But mine didn't look like it. Now we don't just stop and say we can't help you. We literally go that extra mile to see if we can. And really, if we can't, which is seldom, we'll point you in the right direction.
They worked on my mom's car, they worked on my ex-wife's car, and they've been very, very kind to me. The loyalty discount structure, people are sleeping on this, my bro. I'm very serious when I say this. The loyalty discount structure can save you up to 50% on a quotation. You can take one quotation for example, an engine overhaul, and it can cost you X amount, and then you become a member, and then that same quotation will be reduced massively, and you can save money, and also you can pay it off over Payflex. You guys really take customers and make them family. Your mechanic, what did you say? How long is he? Like 35 years?
Yeah, 35 years in the industry. That's one of them.
Yo.
That's one.
And then your aircon guys.
As well.
And the guy that I just showed him now, he's most people will tell you go take your starter and buy a new starter. Or go get your alternator, go throw it away, get a new alternator. Here they'll actually open the thing and strip it to its bare bones and actually repair it for you, man. You know, just to save you money. AED is where it's at. The contact details will be up here somewhere in the video. Please make inquiries with Frank about the loyalty discount program. It starts at 200 Rand a month, no? 195.
195.
And then that 195 gets you discounts on labor, discount on parts, an emergency service for your family,
Free jump start.
free jump start,
Free aircon regas.
free aircon regas, and diagnostics, depending on which package.
Depending on which package.
Also, one of them includes a free, not a free service, but a service that you do on your car.
No, 195 as well.
Is
It's a
it?
minor service. Don't charge for labor, but you only pay for parts. But then you get the discount.
And you get the discount on the parts. Yeah, that's insane, bro. So
Plus, you can still use Payflex to pay for the parts.
and you can pay it off of a Payflex over 3 equal installments. What about that? So guys, AED's bits, and thank you very much to them for coming on board as a sponsor. Uncle Frank, I really appreciate all the contributions you and your team have made, bro. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the cam pulleys. We're gonna take that off so that we can replace the cam seals because one of them is leaking. I'm gonna remove the radiator hose first. Just clamp here. Out of the way so we can get in here, and yeah, I'm going to show you how we're going to shoot it off. The quiet thing is no torsion bar needed, no suckle. There's money. Can I do it? Or am I gonna,
No, you can do
am I
it.
gonna mess it up?
You're losing it, it's not tightening.
So, so I first fix it on straight. Make sure it's level. Yo, look how that was quick, bro. One. And just like that, my bro, this guy. What's the RPM on that thing? Does it just slide off now?
Just take it off.
Okay, wait, let's see. one. No cracks anywhere. Okay, that's our first one. So, nice also condition. Doesn't look like there's any cracks or anything anywhere. So these markings were made here. Is that the dot for the marking for where it's dead center?
Yeah. So
That
your
dot.
mark,
Oh,
the
the
mark
dot
is there
is
on top. Yeah.
Oh, there's a dot there. Okay, got it. Alright, there you go. Angarani don't want me to do any more loosening, he said just now. Lose my mind. So there's one bolt on either side of each cam. This bolt broke inside of the motor. And then we have one bolt over there. And then, yeah, then it should slide off.
Yeah. It's just that.
Okay, so I have what we call a cam seal here. There's obviously two cams in the car and both of them are sealed off with this. And I just wanted to show you inside here is a little spring. Can you see that? That spring is there to keep the tension on the actual seal itself so it doesn't wiggle around and come loose. And the way that you know that a seal like this is worn is when it comes out in stickies, because it goes from a rubberized material to like a plastic or hard plastic. And that's obviously because of the heating and cooling of the engine, right? So this is a brand new one, but we are diagnosing right now and we see that it's quite dry around our cam seals, and it doesn't seem like the engine oil leak is coming from there. It seems like it's stemming from the crank. There you can see the one seal over there, the brown one, and there you can see the other seal over there. They looked quite nice, and you would have seen one of the telltale signs of an oil leak from the seals is that it would be wet in and around this plate here, and then the parts obviously lower than that on the engine would be wet, which is a good sign at the moment because we don't see any wetness stemming from here. That oil leak is definitely probably coming from the crank seal. Yeah, now you know that it's not the cam seals, but we had to check anyways. But it's a more mission to get. Thought it would just be as simple as taking off this plate over here, but now we can't just take off the plate because it's sitting fast against this bracket here, against these brackets. So this freaking engine mounting must now come loose, so that we can get this plate off so we can properly check if it is actually the cam seals. So after a long grueling day of mechanical work on the shitbox and on my mom's car, we are finally done. The crank seal is replaced. The cam seals were not leaking at all. We've come to that conclusion, so we are not going to replace those. The sump will be replaced back, and then the next time you see me in the next episode, hopefully we will be driving the car out and away from AEB for the last time. Remember the car came here on a flatbed, so we want to drive it home, and that was Frankie's guarantee to us that when we bring it here on a flatbed, the car is going to drive out of here. So from here the next step is going to be, we need to have the undercarriage seen to, and for that we are going to mag addiction, and we are going to have a look at the undercarriage of the car, welding the car, etc, etc. And then once we are done with that, we are going to go to Performance Solutions Cape Town to have the car tuned, and then from there we're going to go to Top Gear Auto, and we're going to have the car done further mechanical if there's anything else that needs to be done on the suspension and stuff. And then we are going to put on a customized exhaust system on the car, kindly sponsored to us by Top Gear Auto. So there's a lot going to be happening in the future episodes, and then there's obviously going to be an episode with me working on all of the trimmings and all of the pieces and stuff. But maybe before that we're going to get the car wrapped at Wrap Mods. So I'm going to have a meeting with him soon, and we're going to talk about it. And then also we are busy working with in communications with GP Tires, seeing if they're going to come on board as a mag, tire alignment, etc. specialist, and then from there we see how it goes. So exciting stuff laying ahead. If you want to be a sponsor of the project, please DM me directly on TikTok or on Instagram. These are my handles. Whether you want to just give some money towards the project, because I know a lot of people, for them this is a passion project, whether you want to give me a set of rims or lights or whatever the case may be, or if you want to contribute in any way with your business, if you are in the automotive industry, then let me know. Currently we are looking for someone that can do engineering work for us, that can take the head, strip it, clean it, do a refurbishment of all of the parts, the shims adjustment and all of those things, and maybe just give us like a mirror scheme with a new gasket set. That would be fantastic. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I really appreciate all of your support, and don't forget to like, subscribe and comment what your thoughts are on the video. Shukran and thank you, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace.